Good afternoon, everyone. I am Samragi Prasain from Grade 6 Earth, and today I'll be reading a speech by Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream. I'm happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American, in whose symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to the end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society to find himself exiled in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note which every American shall fall here. This note was a promise to all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be granted the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a black check, a check which has come back insufficient funds.